Jeff, starting off in the first race, you've got a pair of them in Desert Destiny and Eau de Creole. You've got the best services that any trainer could really ever hope to have in Gavin Lorena and Pierre Stratum. Both of them look progressive.
They do, Andy, and very hard to pick between them, really. Their forms, close to identical. It's just such a pity. I think both fillies are looking for a 2,000-metre race on the stand side, and if you browse through the catalogue, you actually won't find one. So, we're sort of forced to run on the inside track over a little bit shorter than what we'd like, but good fillies, I think they're there with a chance. But the inside track is a tricky track, and it certainly caught Eau de Creole out last time. She was running on, strongly over a mile, but only really to get into fourth. And I believe she's better than that. So, both fillies, I think Desert Destiny the same. She's a filly who likes to sit in and then come at them with a run. So we just hope there's a decent pace on. If there is, both will have a chance. And I'm not going to pick between them because I don't think there is anything between them.
Happy to say that they could well be double floating bankers and all trifectas and quartets?
On form, most definitely, and I think on well-being as well. They're nice fillies, and like you say, we've got two top riders, so we leave it to Pierre and Gavin.
Okay, in order to try and solicit some place accumulator money, there could be worse courses of action than to back Master Switch on his debut, which was nothing short of impressive, given that the quartet paid a whopping 70-something thousand rand, and you had 3 of the first 4 horses across the line in that race.
I did fancy him in that race, obviously, but a little bit of greenness maybe caught him out. Plus it was pelting him down with rain, so had a lot against him. He's a jet master, so they're feisty horses, and I know he's probably going to give me trouble when I saddle him. He's a very, very nice progressive horse. Probably, and I have spoken to Derek about it, we'll probably need to geld him a little bit later on. But he's a horse that we really would like to get him going now and try and qualify him for the feature races in the forthcoming spring season here in Joburg. Being a jet master, I think they, sort of similar to maybe Master Sabina's route, just get him into the bottom of the handicap in the Summer Cup, then I think he's that class of horse, I think. And long way to go, but first let's try and get the maiden out the way. I suppose it's going to be very short odds on, rightly so I think, but it's just got to go right.
Okay, well there's a direct line of form to horse number 7, Summit, in the third race, first leg of the place accumulator. He looks like a natural banker because he will have gained confidence from that victory, and he showed resolution in that win.
Look, it was a very good win, and the fact that he ran in front of Master Switch, it actually kind of surprised me. But the Cornell collar has done the trick with him, and the poor boy couldn't breathe. I mean, he literally was gasping for air after I think it was his second start. And then he had a bit of trouble with the knee. He was a bit off-centered, and the one knee was getting a bit painful. But it's the first time I've had any joy with a Cornell collar. I think it's the first winner we've ever had, using one. But hopefully long may it last, because he's obviously a decent little horse, and we saw the real Summit, when he won that maiden, and track and trip I think will be ideal. It's the same track and 200 metres further. I think he'll go well.
Okay, then on to the 7th of the afternoon, and if you'll pardon the pun, on any given Saturday, you'd like to think that Like a Boss is just about ready to win again.
Look, I hope so. It's a bit of a gamble. We're jumping, from the maidens into a handicap. Over 2.6, the inside track, he's never seen that, and but for me, he's a decent horse, and the way he won that maiden, he had the race actually won at the 400, so I loved his turn of foot that day, and was it the blinkers made the difference? I don't know. I've never seen him make that much difference before, but Gavin certainly rode him a different way, sort of tucked him in, and then he suddenly had an electric turn of foot. So. Well, I sort of hope that materialises on Saturday. If it does, then he's a big runner again. He's very well, and I certainly see him holding form. Whether he's good enough to beat this lot, I don't know. I'd like to think so.
All right, Sean, in the first race of the afternoon, you've got Black Lace. She's having her 4th start. She looks like her penultimate start was a decent enough one. Are you expecting improvement from her?
Yes, definitely. I think she'll appreciate the extra. Her last run was all wrong. Was forced to the front and did it too hard and compounded. It is obviously a competitive field, but she should improve.
Callan Murray gets aboard Cedarwood, who has been victorious and of course was due to run in the same race as Michael Azi's horse Tandukazi, who represents that form line. He won by 10, so you must be quietly confident that Cedarwood can step up and record back-to-back victories.
I won't say I'm confident, but I am confident of a decent showing. He's a horse that's very, very honest. He seems to like this inside course, and I think with the weight and the draw, he's got a lot in his favour. So I'm just hoping for a good penultimate run. He goes on to the Shungweni sales at the end of the month, so yeah.
Okay, moving on to race number 4, where Master Archer continues on his 1450 metre track, and he's much better drawn than he was last time out with a, have to say, bang in form Raymond Danielson.
Yeah, funny enough, this is another horse that Mr. Javid and I have considered putting on the sale at the end of the month. I don't think he stays. Mr. Javid is looking for a classic horse, and if they show that they don't get the trip, then we tend to let them move on. It's a small field, which it's another plus for him, and the two horses that are very highly rated don't seem to be in the pink of form right now, so it looked like the obvious sort of race if I was going to back him up, and his work's very good. We tried the blinkers this morning. He worked very well with the blinkers, so you know, it wouldn't surprise me to see him thereabouts.
Okay, then moving on to race 5, first leg of the jackpot, a young man who is certainly not short of talent, but he doesn't seem to be getting that many chances, sadly, and I see you giving young Craig Zaki a chance on Lexicon.
Yeah, he's been working quite hard for me lately, and he phoned for the ride. The horse is drawn well, so it's an apprentice race. You know, you're not spoiled for choice in terms of how competent. You know, he's one of the better apprentices available right now. Yeah, I think she won really well, maiden. We were disappointed in her 2 runs before her win, but we did find something that we've been working on and seems to be paying dividends. Yeah, it looks like a very open race, but she would have a chance.
Okay, then moving on to Simanga Kamala's ride in the 6th of the afternoon. Miss Masala, the daughter of Captain Al, a very encouraging run behind Jeff Woodruff's Sprinting Queen last time out.
With this filly, it's very simple. You either put her to sleep at the back and wait at the very last minute to produce her, or she runs an average sort of race. The fact that she was wide last time for quite some time and was produced quite early, and she stayed on quite nicely, was very, very encouraging. So yeah, I think with the right type of ride, she certainly has got a chance, but if she's made too much use of or sees daylight early, I don't think she'll see the mile out.
Okay, and then of course we've got Pierre Stradham climbing aboard Super Tube, who now has his 3rd run after the rest and should be absolutely cherry ripe and ready for action.
Yeah, I think he comes into this race with a nice weight, reasonable draw. You know, we're not 100% convinced that he gets this type of trip, but my gut feel is it's what he wants, and I think he'll be competitive.
Right, the Michael de KOCK stable is represented by Nicholas ITHIER as far as race number 2 is concerned. Horse number 3, Oreo, the mount of young Jared Penny.
Yeah, it's been disappointing the last 2 runs. We're hoping for a better run this time. Let's see how we go.
What makes you think that there might be improvement? Was he a little bit unlucky in the last 2 starts? Is he a fitter horse now?
You know what, he ran in 2 work riders races. I think last time we went quite a bit fast in front. So maybe this time with a bit of a more control race, we're hoping for a better run.
Fantastic. Okay, that's good news. And then moving on to race number 7, you've got Magnum Opus, who's a horse that looks like he's got a bit of quality about him.
Yeah, definitely it's a nice horse. Last time he was 1st run after us, over 18, need much further. And this time he's over 2.6. There is some horses, it's quite a competitive field, and we're hoping for a very good run.
Represented in all of races 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, pretty straightforward. Let's start off in race number 2, Alec.
Yeah, race 2 is a maiden, 1800, 28.9 is a lovely horse. He hasn't switched on. His last run was way below his ability. He didn't even get in the race, but we have slapped on some blinkers, and I'm hoping that the way he works, I think he could run into the quartet.
Your next runner is named after Mike de Kock after a good night in Dubai. What a boykie.
What a boykie is a typical South African name, isn't it? He's knocking at the door. He's won 2 races and he's due to win a 3rd one soon. He's well. He's in with a shout. Wesley knows him fairly well. He's ridden him in a race. He's ridden him here in work. So all goes well. He's right there. Look, he's got to prove he goes the 1800 properly, but he's been running thereabouts, and he didn't quite finish off. But I think if we ride him patient, he'll get through.
Okay, then the horse that probably represents the most hopeful of all your runners, not saying that the others can't win, but he's certainly rated to win in Amazing Strike.
He is rated on handicap. He's rated to win, I think, half a kilo ahead of Accelero, which is possibly the horse we have to beat. I mean, there's others with good form, but I've always had hope for him. He started off very promising, and he ran some good races, and he was like 3 lengths off the best as a 2-year-old. And we expected him to improve, but it hasn't quite worked out, and he kind of lost confidence, or he lost his way. But so gave him a bit of a break, training him slightly differently, giving him his head in work instead of fighting with him. He's quite strong, but we've got a crossover grackle on him, and letting him, giving him his head, and he's more settled. So I'm hoping that he's going to bounce back to form. He's certainly looked good at home.
All right, then on to a movie star of dynamic proportions, Cara.
Cara's a big, strong girl. You know, she progressed nicely through the maiden. The first, second run, she improved, and then she improved further to win a maiden. And then she ran a poor run. The last start was, I think she just dropped it, you know. And she's better than that. I don't know how good she is. We're still going to find out. She's a big girl and improving. But again, another horse with blinkers, because I think she was just messing around. And she certainly worked better with the blinkers. She's got top weight in a competitive field for a 3-year-old with top weight. She's not out of it, but it's not the easiest race in a way, but it will prove to us where she's going. The blinkers will put her in the race, and I think she's got a winning chance. But I'm hoping that she can.
Speaking off camera, you mentioned that Cassia's ever so slightly under sufferance, but with the services of claiming apprentice Callan Murray, to a large extent negates that under sufferance position.
Yeah, she's a nice filly, a big strong girl. She's dropped down in the rating, so she ended up under sufferance in this field. There's a couple there, I suppose. Moggy Two Shoes is the sort of one of the better horses there, but I thought the horse to beat would be Sean Terry's runner. That she's a 3-year-old.
Miss Masala.
Yes, Miss Masala. She's a full sister to Captain Scott, who I trained, and she's got the form to be the one to beat in the race. She's still got to give us a little bit of weight now, but as you know, we're claiming 2.5, 49.5 on her back. She's a strong runner. Cassia, she tends to overdo it. That's why we've got the pacifiers on. And although Kalen doesn't know her, I think he hopefully she responds to his, you know, if he can get her to just relax wherever she is. I think with 49.5 on her back, she could surprise.